Welcome to the first episode of We Are Human. I'm Susan Leonardson,
I'm Andrea Peer.
and this episode is going to be introducing you to the podcast. We're going to talk about what is even the premise, why are we here, why do we care, what drove us to start this to begin with, and what you'll get out of it if you continue to listen to the future episodes. So let's dive in. I
Yes.
think to start, let's go into what is the mission kind of behind our show and why did we start it. So I'm going to let Andrea take over and hit us with that.
Yeah. So it's, first of all, just so excited to be here with you too, Susan. And getting this finally kicked off. It's been so long in the making. So yeah. Okay. Well, Susan and I, we sit at this really interesting intersection. We run a marketing and tech agency, and we really specialize in delivery systems. And so every day we're trying to use like algorithms to find people, and we're using AI to automate and connect. And like we're trying to use all these different techniques, both on the marketing side and the technology side, to at really to like enhance human potential and businesses. And so we usually have a saying where we always put the human first. We try very hard to create systems and to create businesses and to create offers and to create technology membership experiences that are just innately human. But yet and I think Susan feels the same, and this will be part of our discussion, in the pit of our soul, there is something just missing. And we believe that that something is our vast, still left to be understood sense of what does it mean to actually be human. We're trying to connect to human beings through all of these different systems, but yet we just miss the mark so many times. Even with all of our knowledge, even with all of our expertise, there is just this fundamental thing of like, we need to understand more about what it means to actually be human and put that as the forefront. You said something really good this morning, Susan, that I think you actually should say again in terms of the solution versus the problem, and what this podcast is all about.
Yeah. So and we're going to dive into the next episode. We're going to dive more into the problem deeper. Okay. We live in this reality of tech is taking over. We live in the world of AI now and automation, and some industries are worried about their jobs. And in our world, in the entrepreneur world, most of us are diving in of like, this is making our lives easier, but we're also losing that part of what makes us human in the process. I actually was just having a conversation with a client yesterday about how I think that the biggest risk in us all diving into AI, from my experience, this is like me personally talking, I've observed it with myself, is that we're not exercising our creative brain muscle anymore. And it's like, oh, I need help with this thing. Okay, open up ChatGPT. Oh, I need help writing this email. Okay, open up Claude, whatever that is. And I am realizing we don't get as many ideas anymore. I'm almost using it as a crutch now, and I'm losing my creativeness.
Mhm.
And funny enough, I was actually just spending some time last night creating the podcast cover for this new podcast. And it was so fun to dive in and start creating.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of creating of graphics in our business. We have an amazing team member for that. Um, but she's on vacation, so I'm taking over. And so I've been doing a lot of design work, which is something I used to do a lot of. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it took me a little bit to get into it because I haven't done it in a while. So it's,
Yeah.
if you haven't exercised the muscle in a while, it gets weak. And I
Mhm.
think that that's what's going to happen for a lot of us when we're leaning on technology to kind of take over that part of the process in our creation. There's not anything inherently bad about technology. It's an amazing tool that makes our lives easier and more efficient. But if we're not careful, right? I think we all know this. And
Mhm.
so the solution that Andrea was talking about is, okay, well, how do we then leverage the tech, leverage AI without losing the humanity, the thing that makes us human, the thing that makes us creative. And I think that being creative is the most like human thing.
Mhm.
We don't see, that in other species, like us being able to invent and our ingenuity and being creative is what sets us apart.
Yeah.
If we don't lose that, are we losing our essence of of humanity? So that's the things that we're going to dive into and explore on this show, because if we're like, okay, well, we want to use this tech, but we don't want to lose what makes us who we are,
Mhm.
then okay, but what makes us who we are? What is
Mhm.
that? And what are we trying to protect? And what pieces do we want to protect versus what pieces we're like, it's okay if I let that go, you know? And that's what I'm really excited about to keep talking about.
Yeah. And I think, as you're listening to this, what you may have or maybe thinking right now is, well, where's our stance? And you should know, like, we are not anti-tech. We're actually pro-tech. We are believing that actually, and this might be a bold statement, we actually believe that the more that we lean into AI and tech, it actually can help us be more human if we do it right. Exactly what you were saying, Susan. So I think that is what this podcast is all about.
So right now, it's me, and it's Andrea. For the next several episodes, it will be us just kind of introducing the premise of the show, letting you get to know us if you're new to who we are, really understanding our stances and on things, what we value, so that as you continue listening, you'll know like what you're in for. And if we don't align with you, that's great. If we do, great. And also, FYI, if you're new to us, Andrea and I have different opinions. So you are going to hear on certain topics. We have a lot of
Yeah.
common opinions on a lot of topics, but we do differ in some things. And so if you're here for hearing different perspectives, then you're in the right place. Um, and some of our episodes might be us debating some of the things. We're also going to be bringing on guests for uh every episode, not every episode, but once a week after we get through our initial intro episodes, we'll be publishing at least one guest episode as well. So you're going to hear from outside even our perspectives of people, and just diving into that topic of like, what makes us human? What are we trying to preserve? How do we connect to people in a tech heavy world and not lose that?
Mhm.
And then we'll also bring in, some cool other topics related, but like we have some names on our list of people, and it's going to be really exciting. So that is kind of the format moving forward. You'll hear from us once a week. You'll hear from us plus a guest once a week, and it'll be a fun time. Yes, it's going to be
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, yeah. So if you are somebody who is interested in building the future, you know that tech is here, you want to understand how to leverage it better, but you know in your heart of hearts that at the core of everything that we do has to remain a human-centered focus, then you're in the right spot. And we look forward to exploring this very important topic with you guys on the podcast.
So you've just experienced the first episode of We Are Human. Hope you are going to stick around, and we will see you on the second episode where we're going to dive more into that problem that we touched on a little bit in this episode. So stay human and stay connected.